Yep.
Okay. So basically, to give everyone some context, what is ProductTank again, just to refresh everyone's memory, and for those who just joined our event for the very first time, we are actually a community run by product managers for product managers. So we started in 2010 in London. We have ProductTank events in more than 200 cities around the world. And currently we have 1,300 members on our meetup page in Hong Kong. So we're actually part of the Mind the Product group as well. So Mind the Product group has a lot of resources, including newsletters, blogs, conferences, workshops. Also, they organize paid training courses. They have a Slack channel, and they also have a very great job board where companies post product management related jobs on there. So overall, it's more a community for product managers to share, learn, and network with each other. And sometimes we organize some more casual events as well, so we can have some fun together. We do have a lot of exposures on different social media, including the meetup page that you probably is the first touch point you get contact with us. We also have a Facebook group and a Telegram channel and a group for the member discussions. We also have a LinkedIn page and a channel on the Mind Product Snack. And obviously, if you want to watch ProductTank events and other conference recordings of the Mind the Product conference, you can also go to the Mind the Product YouTube channel. So there are a lot of great sharings and resources in all these places. So we are just kind of volunteers for the product communities. So we're constantly looking for different topics, speakers, venues when we are allowed to organize physical meetups, and also volunteers. So to give us a hand on organizing the events, sort out the logistics, contact with the speakers, and also finding sponsors and etc. So if you are interested in giving a help on these activities, to give us a hand and just let us know you are interested in this. So today we do not have a set topic, but we did set out a few themes for our discussions. So I believe a lot of us are impacted by COVID-19 this year, and we do work with different stakeholders and team members. So we're interested to learn about your own personal experience, how all these work from home measures or whatever cautionary or preventive measures about COVID-19 have affected your team culture, or even like product priority or relations with your customers. So maybe Bill or Jasper, you can have some like your own sharing about like what kind of things that you have experienced so far.
Yeah, it's a good question. It's I think it's affected everybody, right? So, and it's across the board. From a team culture standpoint, I've probably done more Zoom meetings in the last 6 months I've done in my entire career. And from a product priority, I would say that it's shifted for a lot of us. We move products out now. For the software business, it remains pretty much the same. I mean, we're still trying to work, but it's just through, as you say, more digital means and all that. So it's an essential business, so it remains top priority for everybody. In terms of relationships with customers, I think we all miss the face-to-face contact, the lunches, and the meetings. It's gotten a little more different with using the digital format such as Zoom or Teams, but I actually find it it's more efficient. So you get to things a lot faster, especially when you're working with teams. There's more centralized synergy between all the different groups in terms of how you get things done. So that's been my experience, my team's culture, with team culture and team experience. So it's all good. It's actually, I think I just read that Bill Gates said that this will be the new normal. So 50% of 30% of people who are going to the office, you'll see 30% less of that. And business travel will be reduced by 50%. I think those were his two predictions for the coming year. So it's interesting to hear that.
So maybe to give some context to the audience, I believe some are actually watching over YouTube. So maybe you can give a little bit of short description of like what kind of team you're working with and the products that you currently working with them.
Yeah, sort of what we talked about earlier. Yeah, so the teams are usually product management teams, right? So these involve data scientists, product marketing people, sales people, marketing people, product development people. So it's a mix of people, programmers, not so much, machine learning people. And the products that we're working on include perinatal monitoring, as well as EHS software, which is essentially environmental health and safety software. So, and prior to that was around a bit of working with an Israeli company around ballistics for rockets and how to convert them into more guided rockets. These are for dumb rockets that we're working on, such as the Hydra program from the 1970s. We converted over 80,000 rockets for Vietnam War and things like that. So related to that kind of work, but that's a few years ago. So that's the context that I work in. Before that, it was around LED, solid state lighting type kind of work. So developing.
What is the team size like?
It varies. I mean, so it can go from 5 to maybe 25, depending on the broadness of the teams, and it's usually global. A lot of times with the larger companies, it's global.
So you have team members in other countries speaking other languages as well.
Correct. Yeah, and but English being the main language, right? Except for when I was doing business with a Chinese company, then occasionally the Mandarin sneaks in and all that kind of stuff. But but they're doing business in the U.S., so everybody speaks English. So yeah.
I see. So how did these work from home measures actually impacting your daily work? Is it doing a lot of difference than before, or actually you very used to the current way of working anyway?
That's a good question. I think we all adapt, right? So it's forced upon us here in the U.S. We're on lockdown pretty much. We just had the latest update from our governor that we should stay home. Should not go out. If you can work at home, you should work at home. So this has really become a new norm, and this is, and it's fine for me because I normally work out my home office anyway. So, but just less face to face. I miss my meetings with my partners and clients. So yeah, I think that's it's I think rapidly going to become the new norm for most of us, especially if people working in the software industry where you don't need to be on site, right? So.
Hi, it's Abby here. I missed the very beginning.
Hi, Abby. Finally, I've got you here.
Hi, Amanda. It took me ages to join virtual and audio and video all together.
Right.
By the way, where's Bill based, please?
Are you talking to me?
Yeah. Please.
Oh yeah, okay, Abby. Yeah, I'm based in Chicago, Illinois.
Oh, in
So
Chicago.
yeah, Chicago. Yeah. So
I thought. Are you working in my company? Because my head office is in Chicago.
oh, is that right? Who do you work for, Abby?
I tell you later offline.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, sure.
Because I really feel the same. Like I mean, like I think we have a similar background. Like my team work globally, different places, different where. And every time when I call my boss, I have to check the weather. When I say check the weather, I do check the weather because
Okay. Yeah,
it's in
sure.
Chicago. And then like
Okay.
couple of days ago, I was asking my team, "Oh, how's the weather in Seattle?" And I did check the weather before I asked as well, because I remember some like call center people when they call me, they say, "Hey, how's the weather today?" And then they didn't even check the weather before they asked, and then they heard that the weather was horrible. So I thought like, oh, anyway.
So,
I
Abby, while you're here, actually can introduce little bit about yourself to everyone first.
cool. I see another participant, and then his name is Jasper. Isn't it? Is Jasper is online?
Yeah, just is online as well.
Yes.
Jasper is based in Hong Kong.
Yes, I am.
Cool. Like I just have to apologize. Like my network is really bad when I'm working at home because I blame the bandwidth. I think I pretty much have a lot of meeting. And I'm also same as Amanda. I'm the ProductTank Hong Kong host, like co-organizer thingy. But then I don't think that I can have video on. So I will show you guys my face next time when we have a virtual or physical meetup. And I'm really hope that I thought that by the end of the year, Hong Kong can do a physical meetup, but then I think we give up. We have to get back to online again. But then I'm glad that I saw a lot of people like around the road side up. So hopefully they will join later. So yeah, and so basically I'm just similar to Amanda, hosting this event and then sharing our experience with you guys as well. Because although we are all tech people, we work remotely, but like working remotely compulsory like this, first time. And I don't know rather I see it as a norm. I guess I will sooner or later feel sick working too much at home.
So what are your challenges recently? Like, are you forced to stay at home to work from home?
It is, yes. Working wise is too much working from home and less social. Plus, because of the whole team, the whole world is working at home globally. So I guess the communication is a bit slow, like very slow. And then sometimes you don't know whether the person is off or work from home or sick leave or they've been taking care of their child or parents or something. So internal wise, it's like I think productivity is kind of low as well. Like I have to be very honest. So I hope that will not become a norm. So this is how I feel, like social wise, work wise, productivity wise.
Right.
I don't know. Rather, you guys feel the same like Jasper?
Yeah, so it's a little bit interesting with me because actually right now this year I've been just freelancing. I took quite a break, so I haven't really experienced the COVID stuff on it. That was really interesting to hear from others today. But to give a bit of background, just what I have done is I'm a mix of a project manager and a product manager, but mainly the last 3 of the 4 roles I've had has been virtual completely. I've been sitting in an office, but I've been on only video calls. It's been global roles. So I used to do everything online and used to do a lot of tools. And then this year I chose to do freelance and stay at home, and then everyone stays at home. So I'm sorry if I'm not really chipping in with that much anecdotes and stories about this, because I simply doesn't have anyone any stories, but I do have worked online quite a long time, and something I was quite interested in actually hearing more about was how your view on general maturity of the teams and companies you work with, like if you feel they have like adopted the tools much more than they used to. Because my feeling like before was a general working online was just mails and video calls. Of course, we have a lot of tools in Slack, but I never really felt that they were utilized as much as possible. So I actually joined this session to also get a little bit better like idea about what you see, like how much companies and individuals has pushed themselves like towards online tools, not just video calling, but in general, like utilizing the possibilities, doing more asynchronous communication, etc. If it makes sense.
So
Right.
you feel no differences, like
I don't. I basically took this year half off for me. So I'm doing some bit of freelance, but it's been all
So
online.
you're very used
but
to
because I'm an individual, I have no teams. I have no like daily. I haven't
Right.
had any daily process being interrupted, right? So I don't really feel the COVID in any ways. Like it was always planned. It was planned from January to December that okay, this year we spent a lot of time like working from home and working online. Then the rest of the world did the same. But I haven't
But then
really.
your
I haven't
self-discipline
worked
must be
much
very
like
good.
full time, so I cannot say much.
What about your clients? Like,
Yeah.
did they
Yeah,
get
but it's been
impacted?
small projects. Like so, I've been just doing a lot of freelance, a bit of web design and web support. So it's very much the same. Generally, like a few mails back and forth, a few meetings. I have had because it's very small projects I've worked on. It's been possible to still meet people like one-on-one, two people. It's never been these big teams. So before it was global projects and it was 10, 20, 50 people, right? So that was like general, but this year, no, I haven't experienced anything except that a little bit few more online meetings, but nothing has changed in the way it worked for me.
Good to hear that.
So you're quite used to that mode of working. So maybe I can share a little bit of my own experience as well. Maybe some of you may not know what kind of job I work for and the kind of environment I'm in. So I actually work for a very large US based enterprise, and they operate many different entertainment businesses. And I'm working with a team in a theme park, so it's actually quite impacted by the COVID-19. So the travel industry is being like severely impacted because of all these lockdown, and also the compulsory closure measure ordered by the government. So our business has been deeply impacted, and there are no people coming into the park, and we can only operate hotels, and we have to take low pay leaves as well. So, and for quite a couple of months, we have to stay at home and work from home through different tools that we use, Slack, Microsoft Teams, and also Zoom calls. So we try to emulate what we usually do in the office with all these tools. We used to have a very formal office where our teams sit next to each other, and we also run daily scrums and do a lot of digital products together. But for this pandemic period, we have to like work in a very good self-discipline at home, and it's sometimes harder because like while you're in the office, you can always casually catch someone to ask questions or actually sense the emotions of people by observing their face and also all the little gestures that they do. But on the virtual world, it's a little bit harder to do that. and every small conversations need to be done digitally, like either through Slack or just an ad hoc Zoom call. And it's sometimes very tiring because like you have to constantly concentrating on what people are saying, and then listen and talk back to them. And sometimes you do not know they're preparing to say something, and then you
Or
interrupted
any
them.
hidden gender or any hidden message.
Yeah, that's a kind of the tacit kind of things that you cannot actually sense through a virtual conversation. So I'm not sure if you also experienced that, Bill.
Yeah, I mean, I think communications is 80% visual, right? So so we really get most of our information through our eyes, and so not by having just a two-dimensional face like we're doing now, it's really hard to sense all the things that you're talking about, the tacit feelings and things that you normally get in a face-to-face meeting. Just the body language, the shifting around, all that type of work that we subconsciously pick up. And but it does help to do it this way. I mean, without the face, I think it'd be much harder to really communicate, to understand what the person is really trying to convey over to you. Not just the thoughts, but the feelings and everything else that go with it. So I think it helps to have an established relationship before you start this kind of communication. But if you don't, then it's still better than just a phone call, right? Or an email, because boy, I tell you, emails can be taken so many different ways, and a lot of times it be taken wrong. So it just helps to have face to face. And
is there any protocol that you are actually enforcing with your team members, like on Zoom calls you must turn on your camera, or some things that you have to ask?
Yeah, I think it varies. If it's a large call, I mean, you're going to have people obviously who don't want to turn the cameras on, but if it's 1-to-1, 1-to-2, 1-to-3, I think it's kind of good etiquette to have your camera on. But if it's like 1-to-30, then there are people who can't be on because they're doing something else, whatever. But if it's a dedicated meeting like what we're talking about here, then it's better to have in our base seat because you can see everybody, right? I mean, I think typically the Zoom screen is good for about 25 to 30 people. So I mean, that's kind of.
I think among my team, we did about like a 5 to 10 minutes. The first 5 to 10 minutes compulsory, everyone on video. Then after that we can drop because it's like too long. Then like bandwidth wise is no good for someone like if their home internet is not that fast. And it's kind of good at supporting each other because somehow I do miss my team like globally. I can see the happy face. I know that everyone's stuck at home. Sometimes we have the cats join the meeting all the time, and the children join the meeting, and dinners come sometime, or lunch comes sometime, or even Deliveroo. So I kind of enjoy the video thingy on. I do really enjoy that. I think it's like that your colleagues is doing well, and that you can see that they look really stressed, like by the screen behind them, like the messy around the kitchen or their house. But anyway, so I want to ask like other guys, like in a few aspects, like meeting wise, I got a few problems I want to share. I want to see whether if it's only my problem or my company problem, like meeting wise and also product planning wise. Like there's two things I want to share. Meeting wise, I found that my company have extensive meeting. I have been complaining to my family. I said but my first meeting starts from 8. Then my last meeting doesn't finish until like 1 a.m. So it's almost like 25, 6 hours daily meeting. That's one thing. I want to listen to you guys as well. Then another thing is productivity wise. It's like the recent update, features update, we have slowed down. I want to give you guys more information. It's like I'm doing a solution. It's a kind of like a SaaS thingy. So we maintain a full update each year usually. But then in this year, we've been delayed them because of some customer demand the delay, and some other customer in different region have different expectation and different problem to face as well. So we delay the update. This is the two things I want to share. I want to hear what you guys feel about meeting and like product updates, right? Please.
Well, I again, unfortunately, I cannot say much about like these times, but in general, in the past, with online meeting having a lot of them, I think one of the things I struggle with, because I don't necessarily feel that I had more meetings the times where I've been working mainly online than offline, but I had less traveling between meetings. I have less like breaks in between meetings. So I may have the same meetings at the same time, but when the meeting is done, you will just switch off and you begin working on whatever you're working on, and then the next meeting you just switch on again, right? So the meetings starts, except for some delays, usually starts more on time and just ends, and there's nothing in between. And I think that part has something I always miss, and I would assume that this might also happen quite a lot now, and for many people maybe more than before. That's definitely one. And then also just to pick Abby to the first point that you mentioned about video, because this is something that I just accidentally turned off my video just before, and now put it on back on. Way of giving bad conscience. But in general, that's always like been a first point. If you really want effective online communication, right, you need to put video on. It's not a new thing that has been preached for people to do it a lot. But I felt that you were almost always alone with the cameras. A lot of people are not feeling very confident on camera, right? So I would have loved to see, like, I have a feeling still that more people are more comfortable going on camera now, and maybe like hopefully it happens more than before. Maybe you can chip in on that as well. But I also heard another interesting fact, I cannot remember from where, that especially here in Hong Kong and other cities with very small and crowded living places and kids all over, etc., where you cannot just log into your office, a lot of people, especially younger employees or like people working from home in family homes, which is often happening in Hong Kong, that I heard that they were not very comfortable actually being on camera. Maybe the Zoom backgrounds has helped a little bit, but other than that's actually has been quite an issue starting working from home. Anyway, so it's just my comments.
Yeah, I observed that too. Because like my team, like when they're working from home, as you mentioned, there are kids or pets wandering around, there are noisy backgrounds. They usually not only just turn off the camera, but they also mute themselves all the time until very necessarily they need to talk or they need to discuss something. So it's also hard to gauge their feelings and presence. But obviously, if the majority of people are turning on the camera, there's a kind of peer pressure to turn on the camera as well.
I feel it.
Just like what Abby is feeling right now. So actually, what kind of challenges you also encounter when, for example, what Abby just shared, like that some of the work priorities or some projects that she might be having right now has to be shifted to some other time due to the budget or the business urgency in view of this situation. Do you see any impact of those kind of areas as well? Like Bill or Jasper, if you have any.
Yeah, no, this is one where I cannot really chip much in. Sorry, that's I haven't seen much, but I expect it to be.
What kind of product that you work, Jasper, please?
So this, as I said, this year it's been mainly smaller projects, so small websites, small e-commerce stores, but really small company individual projects. Before that, it was more content management systems, so bigger projects. It was for so Adobe AEM, AP Server sites where you would have global development teams, but between 10, 20, 300 different websites on the same code base, same platform. But again, mainly marketing and websites.
Do you feel that actually the lack of larger projects itself is also an indication of COVID-19?
I don't know. It's for me. It's just because I left my current role, so I was just doing smaller projects for myself. So again, I don't know. I would say I would hope that people would do smaller projects, but I think that's more of a product approach, right? I think in general,
I think actually you are getting more busy now this year, I guess.
Getting more busy, you mean?
Like of the demand, yes, because a smaller project, like smaller budget, I guess.
Yeah, but I think the issues it's for, again I would say like I'm not full time, so let's be clear about that. It's very small projects I've been doing and on off. So I will let's stay there. But on the other part of it, I would say what I've experienced, like there's been a lot of breaks, and I think again it's happened a lot of places. There's been a lot of breaks. Like then suddenly Hong Kong locks down. It happened in April. It happened in August again, and it probably happens now. And every time this has happened with the cases surging, people are kind of like seem to have put their project on hold or stuff just like pause. And it's quite difficult when you have small projects that maybe are not that important either, and doesn't have that much like risk going on. Like I think it's easy for them to drag out. I've at least had a lot of slow responses, not during the project, but as soon as this break comes and then everyone stops and people, I don't know what happens in general, but it just seems like it takes time to get this up again, right? So you get into momentum and then it stops, and then you have to spend quite a lot of time to getting back into the flow, and then it stops again. So I think that is especially is the thing that annoyed me a lot, because yeah.
I have a question. Do you guys think that it's laziness or it's risk management? I see half.
Laziness about what?
Because you just don't want to push the project. You don't want to work on the project. And then you just give an excuse that, we are doing some kind of risk management. But in fact, with laziness.
I believe they're also about the prioritization, right? Like sometimes you plan ahead out of projects or products, but then the business situation shifts and you do not anticipate as much demand for your products anymore. Then you have to shift priority, and whatever that had been a high priority before has to be like deprioritized, and something more urgent would need to be put in front. So
I mean,
yeah.
Pretty much.
I mean, like for us, you see a K recovery here, right? So people who are like in essential businesses is recovering. The business is coming back, but people who are like in service hospitality industry, like you mentioned earlier, that you're involved with, whatever is some kind of amusement park, that's all dropped off. Cruise ships, casinos, all that kind of work is dropped off. So those people that are in those industries are not seeing, the projects like maybe what Jesper is saying. It's not coming back as quickly.
Yeah.
And so it doesn't matter what your profession is. If you're in that industry, you're just kind of in the displaced mode right now. So and it's pretty obvious. It's pretty obvious here. So my people I know who are in small businesses like restaurants and all that, they're all struggling very, very badly right now. So yeah, not product management people, but in the service industries, yes.
Yeah. So from my personal experience, I actually like in my company, we have to really turn around all the priorities and reevaluate everything again because of all the original project size could be very huge, and then we have to break it down, slice it to very minimum level of like the MVP product that we have to launch. And I think it also highlights the importance of being agile as well, because in a large enterprise, especially in a company scale like mine, actually is quite huge, and actually many people are not used to the agile way of working projects. They're really still in a very old school mindset where you have a fixed budget and fixed timeline, fixed scope, and you deliver it. But because of all this prioritization needed, so we have to really react very in a very nimble way, and all these cross-functional departments, they also be very aware of the necessity of being agile. So I think it's also a good opportunity for them to get trained and what's the proper way of doing things in a much more agile way, and also the importance of digital transformation is also being highlighted a lot in my company.
I saw the bad news this afternoon about 3:4 p.m. Have you received the news?
About
internal email wise, like
not
about some cut down of some staffing. Like
yeah, I think there's some layoffs all the time, especially in American companies. It's very typical, right?
So yeah, guys, gotta leave in a couple of minutes. I have a meeting at the health club. So yeah, enjoy talking to you all, and
Okay.
hopefully I'll see you at the next meeting.
Thank you for joining.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, it's my pleasure. It's fun. Okay, so
Yeah,
see you guys.
thanks.
See you another
Thanks,
time.
Woo. Okay.
So
I miss it. What makes
two
him
organizers
join
and
in another time zone?
Sorry, Abby?
he was in Chicago.
Yeah, but what made him join in another time zone?
I think
Because
he's interested in the topic itself.
Because it's pretty early. Like it's like 6-7 a.m. Like no, even earlier than that. Like I think it's like 5 a.m. something like that for him.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay. So I think we don't have enough people tonight actually to have a very like wide conversations with different backgrounds, right?
And sorry, I cannot. And unfortunately, cannot add much. I hope to be sitting back in this one and just like. But I have a question if I can, because you said, Amanda, that you had an issue that it was very traditional and people had to learn. I guess as like my interest in this part is also to figure out like how much has this, like what positive things can come out of this. Like have you sensed that your team or organization has become better at using digital tools, not just like video calls, but have they adopted some ways of working more better, like when the new normal? Yeah, again, now your question is, should it last forever? Like I'm asking if it gets back to more office work. Like, do you think that it has improved? Are there things to bring back?
I think there are more positives than negatives. Obviously, more people are forced to learn how to use different tools to share documents, to collaborate, work virtually online. So I think that's a good thing. And I believe this part of new normal will last. There are also good things about they realize that how digital solutions can help with their business as well. If for example, like we do have different departments looking after the theme park operations or hotel operations, and also like the internal departments like finance, HR. So they originally they often didn't visualize how digital things can help them in day-to-day work, but they are now forced to think about how things can be done digitally. So I think that's a good thing, and we did receive a lot of requests from them as well about like can we do some systems to automate this part of the process? Can we make a virtual queue for our guests waiting outside the restaurant, so to keep the social distance? Can we have a reservation system to manage the like park entry quotas and etc.? So I think there's increasing awareness of digital importance, and I think that part also will last. But I'm not too sure whether people are really enjoying using like Zoom or like all these kind of conferencing tools instead of face-to-face meeting, because just until recently we do still go back to office because the number of cases decreased like in the last few months, right? So we did resume back to the office work, and people do also enjoy having like face-to-face meetings. So maybe there is also an increasing awareness of work flexibility as well. Like sometimes if you really need to work from home due to family issues or other like health concerns or whatever, so people seem to be more tolerant to accept like some members are actually working remotely rather than inside office. So I think that's kind of a mixture. Like while people still prefer face-to-face meetings, they are actually more welcoming or having more tolerance or acceptance of like a hybrid mode of working.
If you can choose, would you prefer to go back to normal or the new normal? Can I ask? I want to know Jasper as well, please.
Well, I can actually answer this one because I've never really wanted to work online for my projects. It's been a coincidence that I kept hitting these global projects where I always had. Oh, I think, can you hear me? I saw the internet is unstable.
Yes.
Okay. No, but I actually always accidentally hit these projects, and I think for some time working online can be fine, and there are ways to make it enjoyable. I think
it is, yes.
I think in when it's more technical, more like in development teams, and if you're working like with I think it's not that I've done that much of it, but if you work like in open source environment, I think people have been really good at working this way for a long time and enjoying it. But when it comes to like more general normal office work, I just always ended up getting online where I really want to meet people. So yes, I would love to get back. Like even I think for some process it just works better in person, or at least maybe it doesn't work better, but you get, I feel like I get personally more energy from it. What I've sensed with the old projects I've had, and it's been returning, is that the first 6 months, 10 months have been okay, and then it's become draining and demotivating. Keep turning on the camera, keep turning on like the screen. I think this is also what happens now, right? In beginning, yes, fine, but over a long time, you kind of miss that office vibe, and kind of miss the collaboration. And I experienced it 4 times now, and it really changes the way, like how active and motivated I am.
It's got like the kind of the sense of loneliness as well, right?
Hmm.
Abby, I think you feel much worse than we do.
Because I've been doing it in a compulsory way, and I used to travel a lot. Like I used to travel like 60% of my time, and now I can only home office supermarket, home office supermarket. Like.
And I think it's also, again, back to the maybe the open source environment and other things, like when you are forced to work, like when you're working online with people that you cannot physically meet, or like they're simply too far away, it's global, then it's okay in a sense. But as soon as like it feels like you have to do it because you can, like you could just normally just meet up, then it becomes draining. Because that's really like the difference on when I enjoy working online and when I don't.
I suppose more people join online and open source.
Sorry?
I suppose more people join online and open source. Am I correct?
Yeah, I believe that has been quite the norm, right? But it's also you're working on very small, very specific projects with people where like those that have the interest might be thousands of miles away, right? Like it's more normal that you haven't been able to just meet them like locally. But when it comes to a company like office work, you normally have your employees, your colleagues in the same room, right? I think at least that's my idea of like why the open source community work is because a lot of the projects were across the world. Like you just didn't have other options. You didn't have budgets to travel and meet people. Like you just did it after hours.
And do your co-workers actually like also very focus on like coding and very focused on the work piece itself rather than discussing how it should be done, or like do you actually work with designers as well?
I used to, yeah. I think design in there's a lot of good tools coming up, and I'm not sure it really because of COVID they came. Of course, it's been much more used, but I think like the more flexible, like open space tools, like of course Figma has become much better collaboration that happened before COVID. I think Mural and what's the other one? Mural and the competitor, the whiteboarding tools have become much better. Like these design tools have definitely made it more fun to work online. I think it wasn't like that before. I think the heyday of Sketch, for example, where you're sharing files like full, I don't think that worked very well online. Like that's just for in my what I saw design teams and those I worked with, that just worked better offline. But with the tools that they have today, it should be possible, right? Like and they are like I think some of these workshops and some of the brainstorms, design thinking weeks that I've been part of on Mural have been fantastic. Like there's been really good things happening in these that you could not happen when you did normal whiteboarding. So yeah, I think it's probably better. But of course, again, the real like the more the programmers and then the developers, they've had the tools from far longer. Like it's been easier. But another question of this, I think I cannot remember who of you, if Abby or you, Amanda, mentioned it. But you said that digital transformation was also something that has to happen. Like one of the issues with digital transformation is also that you just put your offline processes online, right? Like you don't really change the way you work, but you just digitalize it. Like especially I think here in Hong Kong, there's a lot of companies doing this. Do you think have you seen it? Have you seen it happen more in the right way? Like have people actually also adopted new ways of working, or have they just been forced to use the tools to do the same thing they did before?
I think it's always the very first step for them to just digitalize the physical world.
That's like yeah.
But until they are actually aware there are options that things can help like improve their work process, like instead of doing 5 steps of what they usually been doing, actually there's another way to do the same outcome in a much better way. So I believe it's also our duty, like as part of the digital team, to advocate that kind of new ways of doing things. It's hard in a large corporate environment. It's sometimes more like you have to set up a very focused pilot team to showcase how works can be done in much shorter time, in good quality, in a more agile way, and trying to show it by example to them, and they can kind of observe and reflect their way of working as well. Yeah. So 2020 has been like coming to the end soon, right? So reflecting our past like 11 months, how have you been? Like, what would be your key learnings in this unusual year?
No, no, it's no, but I think I've like, for my sense, I took the time and had the time to reflect on my own things, what I really like liked and disliked. And one of my reflections were that I didn't dislike working online, but I was just like, I kept getting I didn't feel the same progress. And I think that has just been reinforced for me that if I can work with people face to face, I would prefer that. And I think
that's good to hear.
what I think happens online, and I saw a few glimpses of it. I'm not sure like if you agree on this one, but I used to go to a lot of meetups and meet a lot of people like locally. Like I always thought that the network you can establish local, where there's also opportunities like local business opportunities when you meet them and jobs etc. has been more valuable. But what I saw, especially in the beginning, it's not as much anymore. But as soon as people said now we're doing virtual events, then they also started including the whole world. Right, like then it's not enough anymore to have a virtual Hong Kong. Then you have to have a virtual APAC or a virtual like people from anywhere is joining anywhere, and that can be great sometimes, but it also kind of like it kind of generalizes the discussion, open up to very high level points because you don't have any shared things. And I just reflected back on that, and in general, I think working online enables you to include a lot of people and go really broad. But in I'm not sure that it actually helps in the end. Like also like in terms of projects and stuff, like having more people on board, having more like available to people can work all the time also creates more complexity in your projects, and it probably highlights why you cannot do the big projects. So you begin scaling down the projects and becoming more agile. So and again, like learning wise, I think I just like realized that it's not all the things I really want to have online. Some things definitely works better, but many things also kind of loses focus, or you like yeah, I think I'm now I'm just talking like a little bit off script.
No, I think you're quite right. I quite
Does it
agree
make sense?
with you. Yeah, but yeah, I really agree with you. Yeah, sometimes it's like getting too much thingy, and then like too large the scale. It's difficult to like kind of drag that. Yeah, I feel the same. Like in this last 11 months. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
you think you need more rules, right? Like sometimes you'll place your meetings because of the schedules, especially work co-working spaces in Hong Kong, or just big companies, right? You have a limited meeting rooms, you schedule, you're quite tight around your meetings. It's always been a problem. People have used too long and haven't been organized. But now, like when you don't have that, I think when you don't have that
confined space.
Remember, like when you don't have that one, suddenly like there's more elements that can go off rail.
Yes, exactly. Yes.
Actually, your observation is spot on. Actually, we have, ProductTank events as well, right? Like, if you observe the Mind the Product YouTube channel, you see a lot of different ProductTank events all around the world. And sometimes same speaker will speak for different ProductTank locations. That is also kind of making us a little bit difficult to differentiate from, like, with kind of lack of local perspective. Sometimes everything is more like globalized anyway. So,
right?
So the essence of local is being weakened somehow. And I feel a little bit, I didn't expect that actually, like, suddenly the borders, we have physical border controls everywhere in the world, but on the virtual world, suddenly there's no borders anymore because everyone can join every other country's meeting and chime in, which is a good thing in terms of exchanging knowledge and having that kind of international exposure. But at the same time, there's also trade-offs of losing the local essence.
Yeah, I mean, I really think that part, like, it's definitely, it's not to say that there's no value in it, because you also get, like, I also ended up in chats with people that I thought, like, oh, that's like fantastic. I would never have that chat if guy from Netherlands or whatever joined in, but it just like there's a lot of values that I usually draw from it, and also just like reflecting like on this meeting, because I know I've been to a few of the meetups of this ProductTank before, and that's been like 20, 30 people sometimes, and now we have 3, but it should be much easier to join this one, right? Everyone is home, everything is
one we host, you mean the one you joined at the physical?
Yeah. I've done a few of those, right? So also to advertise for you that normally I know there's a lot more people to these meetups, but it's interesting because it should be easier to meet. It should be easier to join them, and less people are joining them. I don't know if it's a topic or if it's because it's online, but it's just.
I believe it's easier to attract more attendees if you have a very specific topic by a specific speaker. While this kind of open format is good for physical meetups, face-to-face meetups, but on virtual world, people are more shy to turn up and share. Even they indicate they would attend. Yeah.
I think I discussed with marketing people because I host a lot of like webinar as well. I think content is quite important, and there's too many choices nowadays. There are too many meetup every single minute, every single hours.
Yeah.
But, yeah. So actually, also I don't know, like a product question here. In general, like, because there's always been too many web tools. Like in at least like my view on it is that most companies have technology already that can do much more than the employees use them for. Like most collaboration tools has been existing for 10 years, could have been used much better than they are being used. But I really feel like the last couple of months or this year that there's just been even a bigger surge. I'm not sure it's just because people go online, but also because the way digital products are created today. But there's just so many, and there's like every single day there's a new service. It's not a new discussion. I just felt it happened even more, and I think people in general have hard time adopting a shared way of working if you keep jumping tools, and every like 1 out of 10 is actually feeling secure or like feeling okay around the tool and that like are trained in it. So that's just another thing I see happening here, and I don't know if it's COVID and the virtual, everyone going virtual, it's just accelerated, but there's just so many tools made for improved online collaboration when I actually believe that we have had the tools already.
Maybe I want to say that I really like amend the word confine the space. I guess maybe too much. We have to confine them.
I think it's about setting a common ground for your team. Like if you find a particular tool friendly to everyone in the team, just stick with it, right? Don't change it all the time. Unless the new tool can bring a significant better value to your team. But if you're working with multiple clients, each of them use different things, that is a little bit hard.
Yeah, no, and I don't think it's something new. Of course, it's not something that happened because we all gone online suddenly that people are using different tools. That happens all the time. But I just feel there's been like one more step where people that like you had the tools that actually work for this, but people just never really learned it. Like only a core group of facilitators can use the tools, and suddenly everyone else started building their own tools as well to do the same things. But yeah, sorry, off topic.
No, and that's why I quite enjoyed last time we had the discussion about open sources and also integration. If everything can be integrated or opened, then I guess then it will help to fine tune all the different kind of tools. Yes, I think. Yeah,
well, open source will only encourage more variations of tools.
No, but then you can contribute to one other than create different one.
Abby. Actually, in the open source world, we have more
different types.
People want more choices than trying to improve one product, right? Because when people have multiple views on the same features, they would rather just fork the source code and do their own.
Yeah, that's tailor made, and that's different things, customized and different. Oh my god, confused.
But we will actually have some friends in the open source community to share. As well in the next meetups. We're still in talks with them, and hopefully we can have some different perspective from them on like organizing events online, or like what are the key learnings as well. Because we in this unusual year, it's very hard to be having a peaceful mind to organize things, right? Because it's every day there are some unique challenges pops up, and you have to react very fast to the crisis that you see, and it's not easy. I feel like for everyone, especially in this challenging year. So I believe some of the things that we discussed today will definitely stick till next year and onwards. But I believe it's also time when we have holidays, we can reflect a little bit, like what kind of things we can definitely improve in the coming years, given this new mode of working is already in place in everyone's mind, and kind of shifting people's expectations of each other already, right, on all these new norms. So I think we have very low attendance today, but I think we have some good conversations.
Yes, it's been very inspiring. Thank you.
Thank you for hosting.
Yeah, I hope the audience will find these conversations helpful to you as well.
So we will see each other. Next one will be our next guest speaker meetup, sometime in December, or maybe sometime in, I don't know. So we'll to be decided.
Yep. So we are still finalizing the details. We hope we have a good topic and speaker to share with you next time. And we are also eager to resume face-to-face meetups as well. But given all these legal constraints that we are facing, we cannot organize
We could have done this one.
more than 4 people. So we can have casual dinners or meals in groups of 4. Yeah, let's see.
Yes. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Jasper. Thank you, Amanda. Really enjoy.
It was nice to talk to you.
Thank
Enjoy.
you.
Have a nice evening and
Nice
stay
evening,
safe.
Jasper.
Yeah, bye.
Catch up with you, Abby.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.